Alright, so to begin this tutorial today, I have a Lily Sugar and Cream 100% cotton yarn. This is the color Overcast. It's a nice dark gray color. I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook today. This is the Clover ergonomic hook. I really like the rubber grips on these, so these are my favorite hooks. I obviously have a pair of scissors and I've got my tapestry needle, so let's get started. So what we're making today is called my Lolita top on my website. I don't have a written pattern just yet, but I am going to include different sizing options whenever you are making these for yourself in the description down below, such as how many chains you need to do, what sizes it includes, and stuff like that. So I am going to be making a size small, and I will also include my size chart in the description down below so you can see what size you need to make based on your bra size. But to begin today, I'm going to make a slip knot. So after I have my slip knot for a size small, I'm going to be doing 16 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Like I said, I'm making a size small, and I did 16 chains. So for an extra small, you're gonna do 14 chains. Size small is 16 chains. Size medium is 18 chains. Size large is 20 chains, and a size extra large is 22 chains. But as well, like I said, all of this information is going to be in the description down below. You can check out the sizing chart, you can check out how many chains and how many rows you need to do for all of the things that I am describing. So we're actually gonna start by doing half double crochets. And whenever I do half double crochets, I only skip the first chain as if you're doing like single crochets. If you prefer skipping 2 chains, I would suggest adding 1 chain to your starting chain, but I'm just gonna skip my first one. I'm gonna start by doing a half double crochet in my first chain right there. And we are going to half double crochet across until we get to our last chain in the row. So here I am at the last chain in the row. I did my half double crochets up. I have 1 chain left. So in the last chain, we're actually going to be placing 6 half double crochets, working our way around. There is one thing though. So there's my first one, there's my second one, and here is my third one. So I am going to be placing a stitch marker in the top of my third half double crochet. That just helps me. You should do it as well. And that's just gonna be for later, but I did my 3 on that side. Now I'm gonna do my 3 down this side here. All right, so there is 6 half double crochets all going around the top. Now we're gonna start placing half double crochets down the other side of our base chain. Just make sure that you have the same amount of half double crochets going up this side, 6 in the top, and going down this side so that your cups are even. Okay, so here I am all the way around. So this is where we started. We crocheted up this side. We did our 6 in the top, marking our 3rd stitch. So 1, 2, 3 mark, 1, 2, 3 on the other side, and then we half double crocheted right down the other side of our base chain. So our base chain is here in the middle. So we are basically doing like a little U shape. So we started here, we went up, around, and down to the other side. Now we're gonna go from here up, around, and down to the other side. So this is where some people get confused sometimes. So this only counts as one row. So whenever you're counting your rows, as far as sizing goes, you need to start in the middle and count outwards. So I would start in the middle here and count out. So I only have 1 row so far, not 1, 2 rows. Because we're not starting on this side and counting all the way across to the other side. We are starting at the middle and counting to the end. So this is just 1 row. But from here, also while I crocheted down the other side of my base chain, I made sure to crochet over my scrap yarn so that it got all caught up in there and it is nice and secure now. So once you get to the end down here, I'm gonna chain 1 and we're gonna go ahead and turn our work. And I'm going to just half double crochet up the side until I get to 1 stitch before my stitch marker. So it's gonna be this stitch right here. So we'll start at the end with our half double crochets, and we are just doing 1 half double crochet in each stitch until we get to the stitch right before the stitch marker. I have 2 stitches left before my stitch marker, so I'm just gonna do 1 in this one here. And then in this one, right before our stitch marker, these right here are the 2 middle stitches. So in this one, I'm going to be doing 3 half double crochets. So there's 1. Gonna do another one in the same stitch, that's 2. Another one in the same stitch, and that is 3. So at this point, I'm gonna take my stitch marker out of this stitch here, and I'm gonna move it to this one that we just did, the 3rd stitch. Now, in our next stitch, which is also our center stitch, we're gonna do the 3 half double crochets again in the stitch that our stitch marker was just in. So we're gonna wrap our yarn. Oop. There's 1 half double crochet. Gonna do another one, that's 2. And another one, and that's 3. So we did 3 in this one, and then 3 in this one. So that is 6 around the top, and that is what is going to turn our cup while we're working. So now I'm just gonna continue with my half double crochets all the way down this side until we get to the end down here. All right, so I just finished up my 2nd row here. So starting at the center, we have 1, 2 rows. And we're just gonna be repeating that 2nd row pretty much over and over and over again, but I'll show you guys one more time just so we can get this top portion down. But we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're gonna half double crochet all the way up until we get to the stitch right before our stitch marker. So here we are coming up to our stitch marker. I just did all these half double crochets. Got 1 left. All right, so here's our stitch marker and we have 1 stitch before that. So in this stitch before, we're gonna do our 3 half double crochets. So there's 1. Gonna do another one in the same stitch, that's 2. Another one in the same stitch, and that is 3. And this is whenever I'm going to be moving my stitch marker up. So I'll take it off this one and put it on the one that we just did. So in the 3rd stitch. Close it, and then we're gonna do 3 half double crochets in the next stitch as well. So that is 1, 2, and 3 all in the same stitch. That completes our top portion, and I'm just going to continue with the half double crochets all the way down the side of our cup, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, here I am back at the end. We have done 1, 2, and 3 rows total. So for the size small, I'm gonna do this pattern for a total of 6 rows, and then I will come back and we'll talk about the lace edging around our cups. All right, here we are, I'm back. I have done my 6 rows for my size small, and like I said earlier, we count from the center out, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But from here, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm gonna turn my work, and what we're gonna be doing is a little bit of lace work on the edges. I'm just gonna do a real simple to start with. I'm gonna do a half double crochet, and then I'm gonna chain 1, I'm gonna skip 1 and do another half double crochet. And that is just what we're doing to start, and it's gonna make these little spaces like so. So I'm just chaining 1 in between and doing half double crochets every other stitch. We're gonna do this all the way up until we get to our stitch marker, which should be in the top somewhere. Here we are at the top. I've done my half double crochets and chain 1 all the way up. I'm going to chain 1 as well. And then if I skip 1 and do a half double crochet, it's going to be right here, right next to my stitch marker, which is what we're gonna do. And then from here, I'm going to chain 1, and then instead of skipping 1, we're just going to do our next half double crochet in the next stitch, which is where your stitch marker should be. So I'll take that out. And then we're gonna do it right in the next stitch instead of skipping 1. So it should look like that. And then we're just going to continue with the pattern down the other side, which is gonna be chain 1 and skip 1 in between half double crochets all the way down. So if you double checked and made sure that you had the same amount of stitches on both sides whenever you started your cup, whenever you come up on the end, you should end exactly on a stitch, just like that. So I have 2 left. I'm gonna skip this one, put it right in my last one. And it should work out exactly. So this is what you should have now. We have our base of our cup that we made, and then we have a row of the half double crochets, chain 1, skip 1 between. So the next thing we're gonna do is some picots. So at the end of your row, you need to chain 1 and turn your cup over. And to start our picots, we're gonna do 2 single crochets first. So I'm gonna single crochet into my first half double crochet that we did, and then I'm just gonna single crochet into this chain space. You can single crochet into the chain if you want. I just personally think it's easier to just go through the whole space. So here is where we're gonna do our picot. So to do a picot, we're just going to chain up 3. And then you're gonna take your hook and you're gonna put it through the front of this stitch loop and this right here. So I'll just show you. We're gonna go through this hole and then through this hole as well. And we're gonna do a slip stitch. So through both of those and then through our chain as well. And what it's just gonna do is just gonna make this cute little bobble loop type of thing. And then we're just gonna repeat that across. So I'm gonna single crochet twice into our half double crochet, into our chain space, and then we're gonna do another picot. So we're gonna chain up 3, go through the front area of the stitch, this single crochet down here, and then we're gonna slip stitch through all 3 loops on our hook. And that makes our little picot. So basically it's just gonna have these little bobbles all the way around it. So we're just gonna repeat this all the way around. There's nothing special at the top. You just continue on with the pattern. The 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets, picot, all the way around. Okay, so coming up on the end here, after you do your last picot, if you notice, you only have one stitch left. So we're just gonna do one single crochet to finish it off. And that will be the end of our cup. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off my yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail. And that is our cup pattern. So this is what you should have. It does curve a little bit to fit the natural curve of the body, but this is what it should look like. All right, so after you finish your first one, obviously you need to make a second one. So go ahead and do that. And then after you get your second one done, we're going to start working on the bottom band of our crop top. So I'm going to go make that second one and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished my second bra cup here. So I've got both of them. I am going to cut off my end. Tie that off. And then from here, I'm going to be turning them over because we are going to start working on the bottom portion of our crop top. So to begin on that, I'm gonna make a slip knot and I'm gonna chain 10. I personally chain 10 for all of my sizes. This chain 10 is going to be the length out from the side, so kind of like under your armpit. Of how far the top is going to extend. You can make this shorter, you can make it longer, you can not make one at all, but I like to chain 10, so that is gonna be how long our side piece is for our top. So after I chain 10, I'm going to start single crocheting across the bottom of my top here. So I am making sure that this is the front of my work, this is the back of my work. I'm single crocheting across the front. I'm going to make sure that I trap my scrap yarn under my crochet work so that it gets tucked away while I'm working. But yeah, I'm just going to be placing single crochets all the way across the bottom of my work. I am just going into whatever holes are available, like here, right there, next is there. We're gonna go all the way across the bottom of this, and then we are going to be attaching our other cup. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end here, and I just wanna make sure that I go all the way to my last stitch. So there's the end. And I also put a tiny little space in between my two cups, because if you line them up like this, all of the picots are gonna be butting up against each other in the middle here. So I just do a tiny little chain of 3 in between my cups. And then we're just gonna do the same thing with this cup. Make sure they're both facing the same way whenever you connect them. So I'm gonna start single crocheting across the bottom, make sure my scrap yarn is tucked away, and we're just gonna go all the way across like we did on the other side. Okay, so coming up on the end here, I just did my last single crochet, so now I'm at the end, and I'm going to do a chain 10 on this side, just like we did over here. And then you're actually gonna have to chain one more because we're gonna have to turn our work and then we're gonna half double crochet back across. So we're gonna be skipping one. Yep, so at this point your cuff should be attached. You should have a chain 10 over here, single crochet across the bottom, chain 3 in the middle, single crochet across the bottom, and then we chained 11 at the other side. So I just turned my work. I'm gonna skip my first chain and I'm gonna half double crochet. I'm gonna start my half double crochets across the bottom of my work. I am just going to regular half double crochet all the way across until I get to the end of my chain 10 on the other side of my work. So here we are. I've done half double crochets all the way across the bottom of my work, and I've come back on the other side. So for my next row, we're gonna do what we did up here. We're gonna do the half double crochets with the chain 1, skip 1 in between. And I am just gonna be alternating these rows across the bottom of my top. And I do the same number of rows for every top, no matter what size it is. So you can do as many rows or as little rows as you want. Just, you know, depending on personal preference, how long you want it to be or how short you want it to be, or, you know, pretty much you can make it your own. But I am going to do this combination 3 times. So I'm gonna do a row of half double crochets and a row of half double crochets, chain 1, skip 1. I'm gonna do this 3 times. So I'm gonna do this row 3 times, this row 3 times, but it's gonna be this repeating 3 times. We're gonna end on this row, and then our last row is gonna be this picot row across the bottom. But I'm going to repeat this 3 times. You can repeat it as many times as you wish. Just end on a half double crochet, chain 1 row, and then we'll come back. So I've done all my rows. I did 3 solid rows and 3 space rows. Just make sure that you end on a space row. You can do as many of these as you want, make it as long or as short as you wish. But the next row that we're gonna do is another picot row, and it's gonna be the same as the row that we did going around our bra cups. So it's just gonna be the single crochet 2, and then chain 3, slip stitch down here, and there's your picot, and we're gonna repeat. So single crochet 2, chain 3, slip stitch, single crochet 2, chain 3, slip stitch, and I am just going to do this all the way across the bottom, and then that will pretty much be the end of the main body of the top, and then we just got to put the straps on and we'll be done. So I'm going to do these picots all the way across the bottom, and then we'll come back and I will show you how to add the straps. Here is the picots all the way across the bottom of the top. I'm going to cut my yarn off, leaving about 3 inches or so. And then to tie off my ends, I'm gonna grab my tapestry needle, go ahead and thread it through my yarn. And then this is the back of my work. So I'm just gonna be weaving in the end. Okay, so we've done my end. And that is the finished main portion of our top. So here is what it should look like. Next thing we're gonna do is add the straps to the top. So if you see here, this is the top. You should have a little V there where we did our 2 half double crochets right side by side. And the middle is gonna be our 2 single crochets in between these 2 picots on the top. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna go through one of these, and that is where I'm gonna tie on my yarn. I'm just gonna pull my yarn through there, tie it in a knot, and then I'll take my tapestry needle and I will weave in the end real quick. I usually just run it down through these single crochets where we did the picots, just a couple inches, like that. After you pull it through, make sure you stretch it, and then I'll just cut it off. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I am on the front side of my work. And since both of these are in the middle, I'm gonna actually just go through both of them and kind of do like, if you were going to like single crochet 2 together. So I went through the first one and here's the second one. I'm gonna pull it through the first one. Then I'm gonna go through the second one as well and pull it through that one. And then I will go ahead and start my chain for these straps. And what that does is it makes a really nice little triangle thing and brings it together, and it comes straight out the center top of your cup like that. So as far as these straps go, there's no really set number of chains. I just make a strap long enough to cross over your shoulders, and then it's going to lace up our bottom here as well. So it needs to go up over your shoulder, come down here. It's gonna go from here, cross your back to this corner, and then it will tie in a bow right down here. So we will just make 2 straps long enough to do that. And then I'll come back and show you how to lace it up. So I just did both of my straps. I just wanted to show you guys how I finish off the ends of them. So it's just a chain, right? So you do the chain and then you cut off an end piece. It's maybe like 3 inches or so, but what I do after this is I take my end and I put it back on my chain like this so that they are together, and fold it right at the end right there. And then I'm just gonna tie it in a knot. Just pull it all the way to the end. Make sure it's nice and tight. Pull on the chain and also pull on your end. And then after you have a cute little knot, you can just cut off your end. It's a nice way to finish off your chain, and the end isn't gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna unravel or anything like that. So after you have both of your straps done, we're gonna turn our work over so that the back side of your top is facing up. And then we're going to be lacing up our top. So I'm going to take this strap here, and it's gonna go across, and it's going to come through the top corner over here. We're gonna pull that through. and leave a little room for the shoulder. I'm going to do the same thing with this one over here. So this one is going to go across and go through the top corner of this one right here. Okay, after we have that, we're going to take this one that we just did, and it's going to go across from this top corner to the bottom corner over here. I'll just go ahead and put it through the little gap at the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing with this top corner. It's going to go across from this top corner to this bottom corner right here. And that is how you lace them up. And then at the bottom, this would be where you tie it. So there is your finished top. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to be making more tutorials and stuff like that. If you see anything on my social media, my Instagram, that I have made and you want me to make a tutorial for it, just let me know and I will try to do that for you guys, okay? Make sure you like this video if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, my Instagram, my TikTok, all of my social media is going to be linked in the description down below, as well as the sizing information for different sizes for this top. But yeah, I'm going to go now. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next time. Goodbye!